In this tutorial, we will perform an energy simulation with EPlus. We obtain the architecture of the building from IFC Builder. We retrieve the offices example that consists of a ground floor, the first floor with offices, an equal second floor, a third floor, and the roof. We open the 3D view to observe our model. With the Export button, we create our BIM project with bimserver.center. In order to visualize what exactly has been created, we access the BIM server and can see that our project has been found. In team members, we can invite others to our network, assign them editing powers, and indicate what tasks we would like them to perform. We are going to calculate the thermal loads with CYPETHERM loads, creating a new file, but this time we will not start from scratch since we are going through BIM Server. We will work with our BIM project. We can indicate the route where we typically keep the library of enclosures, types of spaces, etc., so that the program will recognize by its name and avoid repeating the work of each project. Clicking on Offices, we check that there have been effective checks and that the interior design conditions are consistent with what we usually use. Similarly, on the front face, we check that the layers are defined in their day in the library. In the Loads tab, you can define the site using the Climate Database program from Ashrai. Lastly, we proceed to zonify, creating a hypothesis and adding all of the zones that we want to calculate. The building is completely defined and calculated. We generate a list of details where the areas will appear with the surfaces, transmittance, design conditions, and maximum simultaneously. We have finalized the load calculations and we have exported the BIM model. The second step is to incorporate the air conditioning equipment using CYPETHERM HVAC. The procedure is the same that we previously performed, creating a new file and selecting the BIM file that we would like to incorporate. Like we did before, we select the route where we want to keep the libraries. In this process, the program reads the BIM files from BIM Server. It is an office building and we want to install a VRF system. We begin by adding a ribbon. It is convenient to assign a number with the number of the space where we are going to put it. The rest of the locked fields will be filled in and calculated automatically. So the text doesn't get overlapped by the machine, we are going to move it in order to configure the plane. We can change the system of units and configure our preferences. On the top floor, we will utilize a wall unit. In drawing preferences, we can select which fields we want to show in the plane relative to the machine. As in any drawing program, we utilize the copy tool with a base point to perform a copy of the equipment, to which we are going to change the name so that it corresponds with the space. Finally, for the largest office, we are going to choose an interior unit of ducts and assign them a name and location in the plane. We're going to draw a power conduit without importing the flow rates or dimensions, to which we're going to add a pair of diffusers. When dimensioning the program, check if the dimensioned model overcomes the thermal loads. If not, we will have to choose a different model. We generate the connection points of the duct network that have already been dimensioned with the flow of the machine. The third floor is identical to the second floor, so we will utilize the copy plane tool between floors. We will go to the Flow Diagrams tab to apply a theme with all of the interior units that we have been putting on the first floor plan. After this task is completed, to which we have added a flow box since it is a 3-tube recovery system, the program generates a detailed report of the calculations with all of the system checks, including system counts, derivations, tube diameters and lengths, design ranges, and the load coverage, among others. Once the system is designed, we proceed to generate our IFC file that will be in BIM Server Center. Next, we are going to open CYPETHERM EPlus in order to perform the simulation. We create a new file given the name of the project, and we link it to the BIM project we are working with. To accept, the program reads all of the IFC files found in the cloud. We select the directory where we want to keep our libraries, just like we have done in the other programs. In these types of enclosures, we open the panel of offices and check that the design conditions are the ones that we defined in the library. The enclosures are synchronized with the loads program, so if you change something there, the changes would also be carried here. The warning on the thermal bridges tells us that we have to process the edges. Before that, we have to solve other problems. Go to General Data and revise the conditions of our building. In Location Data, select the Climate Data file of Los Angeles. We define the office area as occupied, and we are going to fill in the area fields. We select the operating schedules that we had kept in our library. In terms of ventilation and infiltration, leave the values as the default. We don't have ACS in the system. For air conditioning systems, we will let the system be controlled by the drive temperature. As for the non-occupied areas, we leave them as non-occupied and we come back to check the model. We have a warning that tells us that there is condensation. This can be fixed by editing the insulation. Checking that the concrete slab doesn't consist of any other issues. The program accepts and we return to checking the model. This time there is no condensation. We only have the linear thermal bridges. We process the edges and check that the model is correct. We go to the Air Conditioning Systems tab, and we can observe that all of the models that we define in HVAC have already been found in the program. We can observe them in 3D. We are going to analyze in order to simulate our system. It is possible to simulate the energy demand only or the demand and consumption of the system. The program generates 2 reports, demand and consumption. These reports can be exported as PDFs. Additionally, we have other reports, including construction elements, where the calculations of the enclosures will appear, as well as their measurements, condensations with all the types of enclosures of the building, as well as internal comfort. That's all. Thank you for watching.